Hi, I'm Jim Pollock, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of LumenAstra, and we're a Colorado-based company in Boulder, and we're working on a technology to commercialize a patent from the University of Colorado for a sensor that can be placed anywhere in your body, and we can measure internal body temperature directly from the surface. So if I place it on my forehead, I can directly measure brain temperature in real time. And we've got a lot of applications in surgical applications as well as in ICU, monitoring patients after strokes, and then also consumer applications in military. My background is I'm an electrical engineer with a degree from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, up in Cambridge. And from there, I worked for Hewlett Packard for about 4 years in scientific instrumentation. And then since then, got the startup bug, where I got involved with a startup company out in Silicon Valley. And I've done now about 8 companies that are either early stage or startups along the way, with 5 exits, from those companies. Our number one first focus application for our sensor is measuring brain temperature during a very dangerous surgery called upper aortic dissection repair. That's where you get a dissection of the aorta, and the surgeon must stop the blood flow to the brain while they make the repair, and which means you got about 5 minutes before you can die. So what they do is they deep cool the brain, which allows them to have up to about 20 minutes. But the longer you're cold, the more likely you are to still die or to actually have bleeding or some kind of cognitive loss. In fact, 17% of the people die during that surgery. So with our sensor, they can actually measure the brain directly. They know exactly when they hit the target safe temperature, and they can start the surgery usually 15 minutes faster, get done quicker, and then we think we can save about 20% of the people who normally die during that surgery. After surgical applications, the next two things we're looking at is one is for the military, where they've lost a lot of soldiers in extreme fighting conditions, either to extreme heat or extreme cold. And what they call heat stroke is something that's very common to happen. And they want a sensor that's wireless, they can stick on the body, and then it would give early warning of heat stress or what they call hypothermia, or being too cold. And they think we can save a lot of lives every year with that kind of a sensor. And the next application is actually consumer thermometry. So one of the largest companies in the world that makes consumer thermometers, which are mostly today these ones that scan your forehead with infrared. And the problem with those, they found during COVID, was that scanning the forehead, you're only seeing the skin temperature. So if you're in a hot car, you're going to test positive almost always. And if your kid gets hit by a snowball, they'll test dead for about 5 minutes until they warm back up again. And what they've been interested in is a sensor that can actually skip the skin and look directly inside for a true internal temperature. And that's what we do. So we can actually measure the brain and give you a more consistent temperature and less false positives and false negatives. The reason we're here in San Diego right now is for this Bullpen networking event. It's been a lot of fun and a really great event. And the whole Bullpen is basically a collection of founders of life science and medical device companies such as ourselves, along with other investors in this space. And one, as a startup person myself, it's very good to be able to find investors that are focused on this space, because so many investors we talk to you find that after a while, they're not interested. They don't do life sciences. So it's good to have the right kind of people to talk to, more efficient right off the start. And also, it's just great to be able to talk to other co-founders, other CEOs that are going through some of the same things. So there's things that we've done that we can share experiences with, and also learn from them to help us prepare for some of the things we have to do to raise funds. So we've been very successful. We've raised about $3 million in grants from the National Science Foundation and from the US Army. And so we've been able to share some of the why we were able to get that money that quick, share it with some of the other CEOs, and likewise, they're helping us, coach us on how to approach other groups. So it's a really great group of people. Everybody has an incredible sense of trying to help and basically pass it forward, carrying it forward and all. So it's been a great experience here, and we really recommend it. There's several other my CEO friends that I'm going to be encouraging to join up with this group also.